Okay. Next, we have to study about the globalizations. What is globalization? That we can study here. Integration of the market and production through the trade and investment controlled by the MNC is the main characteristics of the globalizations. That means integration of the market and production through the trade and investment controlled by the large multinational company are the main characteristics of these globalizations. In this process, we can see integration of the countries. When market is integrated, united, when production is united through the big MNCs, a process of integration of countries also took place. Then market, every product will be available in a market. Products from all over the world is available in every market. That is the important nature of the globalizations. It is started in 1992 onwards. India became part of the world economies through the general agreements of trades and tariff. We signed in this treaty. India became part of the world capitalism. Later, 2001, India became part of the World Trade Organization. Then we are under the globalization process. Globalization process very highly improved in 2000 after. Every product, before we made a restriction for the foreign trade. Now the foreign trade restriction almost removed from there. Then foreign trades are easily happening. Thereby foreign capitalists can bring to the India any type of product and sell in the market. Not only the product, they can bring different type of, they can bring capital to India and invest there, and they can start production process in the India. Before foreign product, we purchased from the foreign country. Otherwise, they exported to India and sold in the market. Now foreign product produced in the India. And from the India, this foreign product sold to other countries. For example, Ford companies, American companies started in the India, and it is started in the India. It is foreign product, but sold in the India, and not only India, it is sold other countries in the world. So integration of the market took places, integration of the production process. This is the main characteristics of these globalizations. Flow of the goods and services, flow of the labor, flow of the capital are the three important characteristics of the other important characteristics of the globalizations. Then it has not only these economic aspects, politically and culturally, number of things we can see here. It affected the political and cultural phases also, because almost all the big production processes are under the control of the MNC or multinational companies. In 2000, beginning of the 21st century, 2010, after a revolution occurred in the European, Southwest Asian countries, especially the Egypt, Tunisia, these places. They started revolution, democratic revolution, and uprooted the autocratic government, military government there. It is this movement totally helped by the MNCs or the globalization process, because the medias are under the control of the MNCs. They helped the revolutionaries to fight against the government. So culturally, politically, it helped for the uproot of the military government there. So it has globalization has political dimension and cultural dimensions. Then other important things, production happen not only one country, it is happening all over the world, production across the countries. Sometimes a product is designed, how to produce, that is designed in the America. The production may be happening in the China. Product will be produced in the China, that means parts will be produced in the China. It will be assembled in the Mexico, European countries, and call center will be established in the India. Then production happened across the countries, all over the different countries in the world. Why they conducted production in different places? Wherever product is production happening very cheaply, we can make product very cheaply. Which place? The place they will selected, and the place they started the production process. Thereby it will be very helpful for them. When production cost is 1,000 crore in the America, it will be 500 crores in the China, because production will be cheaply available in the, we can produce product very cheaply in the China. Same like developing countries, we can, the MNC can produce production very cheaply. So much product profit they can get. That is the production took place across the countries. Parties enabled the globalizations. Main parties enabled the globalization is technology, improvement of the technology. What are the what is communications? Communication very highly improved after the 1992 2000. After communication system very highly developed. Internet facilities developed. This all helped for the globalization process. Then liberalization and of the foreign trade. Liberalizations. Government removed all the trades securities. Before, government imposed more tax upon the foreign trade. This is all taxes are removed. Government removed all the taxes. Thereby, foreign trade is possible very easily. This removal of the trade barrier or tax upon the foreign goods is called a liberalization process. Thereby, and government encouraged private industries. This all helped for the globalization. After the 2000s, after the 1994, any country can enter the India. Those who are the member of the World Trade Organizations and General Agreements of Trade and Tariff can enter the India, and they can make they can start business, they can start production process there. So what are the impact of these globalizations? Impact is there is an advantages there, disadvantages there. When production took place in the all over the world, different countries in the world, and production very highly improved, product number very highly increased. This product is sold across the world. So every market product is available. Before, product is available very high cost, now it is available very cheap cost. When we look at the electronic goods itself, we can understand before mobile and TV and other electronic items are available very high cost. 1990s times, high cost we have to pay for the electronic items. Now it is very cheaply available. It is because of the production happened across the world and marketing took place. Now marketing cutting across the geographical boundary of the country and go beyond the geographic boundary, and it is available every market, almost all countries product available. That is why more product is available in the one market very cheaply. That is one of the important. It benefited the middle class and upper class people very highly. At the same time, small scale industries mostly collapsed. Workers, especially poor workers, are very much very highly affected. Skilled people and educated people very highly benefited. This is all impact of the globalization. We need actually a fair globalization. Now present globalization is mostly benefited for the upper class sections. But globalization process is very good. At the same time, it should be useful for the common people also and poor section also. Then only we can make it as a fair globalization. Globalization should be fair manner. Present globalization is now fully fair manner. Every country can make suggestion. Country can give the suggestion to World Trade Organization to make globalization very proper manner. Likewise, people can also make movement against the globalization to make a fair globalization. These are the most important things we have to discuss in the globalization process. Thank you. Okay. Next, we have to study about the food securities. Most important duty of the government is to provide food security of the peoples. What is the need for the food securities? Before the independence, India faced a number of famines. Due to the famines, people lost their life. Number of people, thousands, lakhs of people lost their life. Starvation, food was not available. Whenever any drought occurred, whenever any big flood, any calamities occurred, they will not get any food. Thousands are died out. So olden day always, when kings ruled India and world countries, in that time they provide food for the people to solve the problem of the starvations. So after the independence, India government take a number of measurements to solve the problem of food. So food problems. So food security provides. It is the duty of the government to provide food security for each and every section of the societies. So here, how to provide food security? First, we have to make surety about the availability of the food. Whenever food is available, then only government can distribute the food. In order to provide availability, first government has to encourage or give more help for the farmers to produce more food. Thereby food grain, thereby food production will be increased. Then government can make surety more food production there, surplus is there. The surplus government can store in the government godown. Whenever any problem occurred, government can distribute to the people's poor section of the societies. Thereby food problem will be solved. So food security will be given by the government. Then whenever any famine, any calamities, any problem occurred due to starvation, people wanted to die. It is after the independence, India government had taken number of measurements for the food security of India. Even though government provide this food for the people, access to the food is one of the important problems. How many are accessing food? How many people is getting food? Over sections of the society is getting or not? Those who are the land, those who are the money, they are purchasing food and they keep in the house. They will get all the food. But whenever any problem occurred, landless laborers and poor workers, these all people may not be get food. So it is a duty of the government to provide food for them. The purpose government arranged another program that is called PDS, Public Distribution System. Through the ration shop, Anganwadis, midday meals, government provide food for the poor section of the societies. Even though government provide food for the poor section of society, these through the PDS is not available every state in proper manner. South Indian states are more availability of the food through the PDS, but when we come to the northern state, we cannot see the much availability of the food for the people through the PDS. That is the problem we are facing the food securities. Then even though government provide food for the people, government people are assessing the food, nutrition status are very less here. Most number of people are underweight. Underweight is according to the age and height, they do not have the weight. Weight is very less compared to when we compare with their age and height. Then stunting problem. Their height is according to height, they don't have the according to height. Age, they don't have the height. Age is more, but height is very less. Look like very small kids. Age is very high. So that, but they are not getting enough food. These students are, this child is not getting enough food. That is why their growth is not developed. They are not growing. That is the problem they are facing. Standing. Next one is worstings. The child is growing very fast, but very lean. There is no weight. These are the problem we can see here. This also must be solved by the government by providing number of process. This is we have to study about. This is the things mostly we have to think about the food security. Then when we come to the other topic, sustainable development. What is sustainable development? That I shall say. In sustainable development means the development that meet the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their need. That means the present type of development is not good for the future generations. Present type of development consuming more natural resources for the production purpose and getting more profit. So whatever need for the future generation also we are taking. Present type of development consuming more thing from the nature. So in this same like conceptions of the natural resource continue, future generation will not get anything for the development. They have to suffer a lot of problem. That is unsustainable development. This unsustainable development should be changed. We have to go for the sustainable development. Our development should be good for the present generation and it should not be harm for the environment. Should not take more than needed from the nature. And it should not be harmful for the future generation. That like one development we need. That is we can call as a sustainable development. So for the sustainable development, environmentalist and number of people who stood for the protection of the nature and environment worked for the sustainable development nowadays. Jalasandhi village, one of the important example. There are people suffering from the dam. Narmada dams are constructing. The number of dam constructed under the Narmada Dam project. Sardar Sarovar Valley project is constructed in the Jalasandhi village area. When it is constructed, the Jalasandhi village total will be under the water. So people of the area under the leadership of the Baba Mahaliya started a movement. They openly told the T.B.Biju Singh that time, the Chief Minister of the Madhya Pradesh, we are now ready to go out from the jealous in the village whenever dam constructed, when water come to our area, whenever the water come to our area, and we will sing in the water, then also we will move from the area, we will die here. Because when we go out from this area, we will not get any place for living. You said to go to Gujarat and live, there we will not get any kind of safety. They said. This Baba Mahalaya, like peoples are protector of the nature, protector of the environment. Then other example we can say Chipko movement in the Uttarakhand. Chipko movement in Uttarakhand, the people try to protect the trees from the woodcutters. The contractors take a contract from the government to cut the wood trees from the forest areas. So forest is the life of the people of some areas of Uttarakhand. They began to start a movement, Chipko movement. They embrace the trees and not allow the contractor to cut the trees. This movement they become famous all worldwide. It is the first environmental movement to take place in the world. Other example, right, this sustainable development weekends, Jahirabad's mandal in the Telangana areas. Jahirabad mandal, people generally used jowar as a main crop. Jowar is the main crop they used for their staple food of the areas. But jowar, when they use jowar, it is a rain-fed cultivations, the arid regions. But whenever government provided PDS shop through the PDS rice for them, they just stopped this jowar and other crop they stopped, other grain they stopped to consume. They just go to the rice. So the demand for the jowar totally decreased. When demand for the jowar decreased, what happens? The land total will be barren. Nobody began to cultivate land. So some people of this Jahirabad people think about Jahirabad area, think about that, and they take a organization. They started a organization and collected all the lands, and they began to start a cultivations. Under the one society, they started cultivations. A common cultivation started, jowar cultivation. Jowar is a staple food. That is their main food. So a parallel PD system they started. They made a parallel ration card for each and every section of the society, and they distribute food for everyone. So instead of rice, now they are having their own staple food. In this model for any village, even though they have less amount of land, less acres of land, they are able to produce enough food for them. It is a model for the other village. This is all say about the sustainable development. We should be sustainable. Our development should be sustainable. At the same time, we should be equitable. All the resources should be distributed in equitable manner every places. That is told by these lessons. This is most important thing we have to study in these chapters. Next, we have to study about the world during the world wars. So in this chapter, we have to study about the first half of the 20th century history. What is the political history of the first half of 20th century? We can study here. The famous historian Eric Hobson described 20th century as an age of history. Why he called it as an age of history? Because during this period, number of events took places. What are the major events took place? Two World War occurred. First World War in 1914 and Second World War started in 1939. Apart from that, socialist ideas evolved, fascist idea developed, communism developed, new scientific idea come to being. Likewise, new art, movie came to be. In this way, because of this all reasons, this age he called as an age of histories. Here we have to study causes of the two World War. We have to study causes of the World War, two World War. What are the causes of two World War that we can study here? Commonly, the First World War and Second World War, there is a common causes. Common reasons are there. Again, there is long-term causes. It happened some years before onwards, and it become cause for the First World War as well as the Second World War. Aggressive nationalism, imperialism, secret alliance, same like we can see militarism. These are the four important causes. When we come to the aggressive nationalism is nationalism, but it is some negative effect. Nationalism is positive one only. Through the nationalism, India got independence. Indian national movement, the German national movement. This all national movement is positive effect we can see. Positive side we can see. Negative side of the nationalism is aggressive nationalism. When they utilize the nationalism for attacking other country and occupy the other country, it is called aggressive nationalism. One of the important causes of the First World War and Second World War is aggressive nationalism. They try to occupy the other country by using nationalism. Then second, when we come to the second causes, imperialism. Occupy the one country by another country for getting something from there. Especially when industrialization, industrial revolution developed, European country need more raw material, so they occupy the developing countries and take the raw material from there. They plan to make, they made a rivalry, they made a competition to occupy the different countries in the world. These competitions we can call as an imperialist competition. It become cause for the World War. Then when we come to the next two causes, secret alliance formed before the First World War. Germany made a secret alliance with Austria and Hungary. France and England made a secret alliance with Russia. So this secret alliance made a division among the countries. This big country have number of colonies their own. This all create a kind of divisions. It also create a condition for the World War. Militarism, other important cause. Militarism means military power is a way to solve the problem. They use because of the reason they began to make more and more weapon. When they made a weapon, they have to take the weapon. This is all reason for the World War. Immediate cause of the First World War was the Austrian crown prince Franz Ferdinand was assassinated, killed by the one Bosnian Serb. It is immediate cause. Then Austria asked justification from the Serbia. Serbia did not give it. Then Austria attacked the Serbia to become immediate cause of the First World War. When Austria attacked the Serbia, Russia helped the Serbia. Then Austria helped by the Germany and Hungary. In this way, the World War broke out. Then after the First World War ended in 1918. Then 1990, Treaty of Versailles was took place. Signed in this Treaty of Versailles, World War came to end. But Treaty of Versailles given much insult for the Germany. This insult became cause for the Second World War. They prepared to take a revenge against the insults faced by the German peoples. So Hitler emerged by taking this insult. He remembered the insult of the German people, and he mobilized the peoples, and he promised the people to take revenge against the world countries. So Hitler emerged. During that time, a Great Depression occurred. 1929, Great Depression occurred. It happened in the America and spread all over the world. Except Russia, all the countries faced Great Depressions. So Hitler promised recovery from the Great Depressions and revenge against the insult faced by the German people and job for all the peoples and stability government. Number of promises given by Hitler to the people. So Hitler mobilized the people, and people had given vote for the Hitler, and Hitler elected. Later he became a dictator, and Germany emerged as a powerful country. Even Hitler recovered from the Great Depression. He followed state-owned capitalism and recovered from the Great Depression. Germany emerged as a great power in the Europe and even defeated the France, Poland, neighboring country. When Germany attacked the Poland, it became cause for the Second World War. In this way, Second World War also took place. But after Second World War, the Axis was like Germany, Italy, Japan totally surrendered by the Allied forces. But Second World War had given more problem for the Allied force as well as the Axis force. Even Axis force failed. Not only Axis force, Allied force also got more problem from these First World War and Second World War. These causes and result of the First World War and Second World War. Economic depressions create more problem for the people, especially Germany. Very highly suffered economic depression. More than half of the people suffered from the unemployment. This is all happening in the world during the World War, first half of the 20th century. Then what are the impact of this World War? Number of people died, crowds of people died out in the time of the Second World War. Then all the empire came to end. Democratic government emerged. Democratic principle asserted. This is all impact of the World War. This is briefly something about the First World War during the World during the World Wars. Thank you. Next, we have to study about the national liberation movements in colonies. In this topic, we have to study three important national movements in the colonies, especially China, Vietnam, and Nigeria. About China, we already have studied in previous classes. China was under the control of the Manchu dynasties till 1911s. But even though it was Manchu dynasties controlled by the foreigners, through the Opium War, they took over the power from the China, and European people controlled most of the places of the China. They divided the China into the different parts and controlled, and they followed their own rule in the China. The power was namely in the China. Manchu dynasty Manchu emperor remained as a puppet emperor. The people did not like that, so people started to struggle against the government. Under the leadership of the sannyasins, they started a movement. And this revolution helped for the removal of the Manchu dynasty in 1911. Republic started. But Republic was not success because very fast the China became under the control of the warlords. Warlord took power from them. Warlord, each and every area, warlord took the power. So again 1990s, when Versailles Treaty was signed, in that time, China did not get any kinds of benefits, even though China was part of the Allied power. So they started a movement. It is called May 4th movement. It is given a nationalist spirit among the peoples. Then after what happened, the sannyasin given more hope over the people. Sannyasin, three principles is very famous all over the Chinese people. The three principles of the sannyasin is very famous. Nationalism, socialism, and democracy are the three principles adopted by the sannyasins. But it was not followed by the follower of the sannyasin Chiang Kai-shek. Chiang Kai-shek wanted to militarize the nations. So during that times, another political party emerged, that is CCP, Chinese Communist Party, under leadership of the Mao Zedong. Mao Zedong stood for the common people. He wanted to start revolution from the countryside, just away from the classical communism. According to classical communism, it is a proletarian revolution. But now Mao started a peasant revolution in the China. He united all the peasants and began to fight against the foreigners. At first, Sannyasin and or Kuomintang party, Sannyasin party is called Kuomintang party and CCP togetherly fight against the foreigners. When Chiang Kai-shek came here, Chiang Kai-shek was totally against the CCP. They began to fight against the CCP also. Main aim of the Kuomintang party now to remove the Chinese Communist Party. But Chinese Communist Party became very strong through the long march. During the Japanese war, they struggled togetherly against the Japan, but Chinese community continued war longly later. After the long march, China's CCP become powerful party in the China, and the Red Army become very powerful army in the China. Their struggle continued after the Second World War also. In 1949, China got independent and China established the People's Republic of China. Mao Zedong became the first chairman of the People's Republic of China. They made a number of communist program in the China. All the Jamindari system was removed and all the land was distributed among the peoples. This is something about the China. When we come to the Vietnam was under control of the French. But the French people did not give any kinds of help for the Vietnamese. Vietnamese very brutally exploited by the Chinese French peoples. Then they tried to implement the education among the people of the Vietnams. It helped the Vietnamese to fight against the French peoples. Through the education, their national spirit very highly improved. They began to fight against the French people. Ho Chi Minh emerged as a leader of the Vietnamese. He is a communist leader. When Second World War started, in that time French lost their power before the Hitler. Then they lost power over the Vietnam. They got independence. Then they proclaimed a Vietnamese Republic at Vietnam. But they could not continue this Vietnamese Republic. After the Second World War, Vietnamese in 1945, Democratic Republic of Vietnam was established, but it did not survive more years. Just after the Second World War, French came and tried to reoccupy the Vietnam, but they started a big struggle, 80 years struggle. In these struggles, Vietnamese victory over the French people. Even though the victory over the French people due to the Allied power intervention, it was Vietnam was divided into two parts, North Vietnam and South Vietnam. But South Vietnam was under control of the Americas. When South Vietnam people wanted to unite with North Vietnam, again started a war between the America and Vietnam. It is continued. A brutal war started. It's continued a number of years. At last, 1975, Vietnam became free from the war, and war came to end. A brutal war took place between the Vietnam and Americas. Even American people also turned against the America in the case of the Vietnamese war. Other important topic, Nigeria. Nigeria in Africa. We know the Nigerian position in the Africas. Nigeria actually under the control of the Britons. Nigeria formed by the Britishers only. The Niger River side area they united and made as a country. It is called Nigeria. Nigeria has three parts. Three parts of the Nigeria we can see. Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba and Igbo tribes are the three parts. Each tribe has their own culture and their own way of life. The southern part is Christian people. They are more improved. They began to free from the British imperialism and they started a movement. The British followed a dividend rule policy, and because of dividend rule policy, these tribal people began to fight each other. They could not continue a strong national struggle. Each and every area, the separate struggle started. At last, in 1963, the Nigeria got independence. Even though Nigeria got independence, very soon it became under control of the military rules. Military rules, with the help of the MNCs, they controlled Nigerian people and took all the wealth from the people now suffering a lot of problem. Their environment totally polluted because of the over spillage or the over extraction of the oil from there. These are the problems they suffered from the they are suffering in the Nigeria. These are the three important national movements we have to study: the Chinese movement, Vietnamese movement, and Nigerian movement.